I have played Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties, and in today's video I'm going to go over through my experience, everything that I got to play, and all the details you can expect when it comes out next year on February the 12th. So with that all being said, what is up guys, Jen here, hope you're all doing well, welcome back to the channel. I've got you covered with timestamps because we are going to be talking about Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties, so it's there for your convenience. All I ask is you to like the video, and if you want to stick around for some more Yakuza content, then you're already in the right place. Just hit that subscribe button. Before we dive in, I'm going to give you a brief history of my experience with Yakuza 3. I have played many Yakuza games, but I've not played all the way through 3. I haven't played 4 or 5. The reason behind this is quite simple, and it has been solved with Kiwami 3, is that I played Yakuza 0, I played Yakuza Kiwami 1, I played Yakuza Kiwami 2, I brought the HD collection, went into Yakuza 3, was a little bit taken back from the step back of what I was playing in Kiwami 2, tried to stick with it because I loved the story and I loved just what I was experiencing, but I just didn't keep with it. So I'm very happy that I got to play Kiwami 3, and I'm really hoping this happens for 4 and 5 eventually. Now that's out the way, let's talk about Kiwami 3. So this has been built from the ground up, and as you can see, it looks absolutely incredible. If you go from Kiwami 2 to Kiwami 3, it's going to be so natural. But just to summarize the story, after the Omi Alliance conflict, Kazuma Kiryu leaves the Tojo clan in Daigo Dojima's hands and moves to Okinawa with Haruka. There he spends his days running Morning Glory, an orphanage tied to his foster father, Shintaro Kazuma. However, a government-sponsored resort deal threatens his newfound peace. Morning Glory is caught in the crossfire, a Tojo clan succession dispute erupts, and a conspiracy engulfs the political world. When the maelstrom of conflicts converges, Kiryu steps into the fray once more. Again, like I said, the story of Yakuza is great and I can't wait to dive into this further, but let's talk about the gameplay, and we're going to go straight into exploration in what you can expect. Now, if you've played any Yakuza game, whether it's like a Dragon series or one of the earlier, you know what you're expecting with this. Just free roam in a city of so many things to do. And of course, in Kiwami 3, we have both Kamurocho and Ryoko to explore. One thing straight off the bat that I noticed, and I'll get this out of the way, is that we have access to the Street Surfer, and this looked like it was man-made. So whether this is something they introduced quite early on in the story, I did not get to experience it, but the Street Surfer returns. Whether we can use it in Kamurocho, I don't know, but through the streets of Ryokyu, you certainly can, which is a great addition to get around the city a lot faster. As always, there's shops to visit, restaurants to get food, to get certain buffs and healing from, sub-stories to experience, as well as mini games like bowling, golf, darts, karaoke, the UFO catchers, Sega arcade games, gambling, and mahjong. It's all here, and it is a great pastime if you want to go off the beaten path from the main story. Let's just hone in on Substories. I only got to play one, but it looks like it's new, but it's based off one that's very well known in Yakuza 3, and that is this ice cream sub-story. I can't remember the exact title, but we need to take ice cream for this mother to her 2 children, and at first, it seems like a simple task, and it presents it as a quite simple task. It's just a busy street, people you have to weave in and out, or you can simply just go onto the road and avoid a couple of cars. But as I turned the corner, and I'm sorry that I don't have footage of this, there are sumo wrestlers doing practice in the middle of the street, circling around, moving about, and I managed to weave in and out of that, no problems. And then I went around another corner, and there's just football players practicing, and when I say football, I'm using the American term here, rugby for me, but they are practicing again in the middle of the street, and they're moving a lot faster doing their training regimens. And this is where it started to get a little bit more difficult, because you have that classic Kiryu reaction when one of those football players budge into you. He goes absolutely flying, goes hoo-ah, and drops the ice cream. He has a look to see if they're all right, and they're completely gone. But it's nice to see that these sub-stories are more funnier than ever. Again, I know that there was an ice cream sub-story in Yakuza 3, but when I was looking back at the footage from Yakuza 3, it didn't look like what I played here in Kiwami 3. So that is just a preview of what you can expect with these sub-stories, as funny as ever and very entertaining and maybe a little bit frustrating. Another thing in the world here of Kiwami 3 is the print club. You have a little photo album you have access to whenever you want, and you can go to the print club. You can invite someone along. At this stage of the game, I could only invite Haruka, or I could just go solo. And essentially, you have a timer and you get to strike a pose in any kind of frame that you are presented with. You want to get it right to get the perfect photo, and then you can pick one of 3 that you can put in your album. Don't know if there's a bigger scope on what this is used for, but it's a nice little fun distraction for those that want it. Not only that, you have the ability to capture bugs. Now, this was introduced, I think, I remember doing it in the Pirate Yakuza game where you could catch bugs with one of your weapons. Here, Kiryu has a net, and if you see a bug, you can aim with the R2 button and then capture that bug, which seems to be tied to something that you can trade in somewhere in Kiwami 3. This R2 command can also be used, this capture command can also be used on certain women in the streets. They have a little icon above their head, and you do it, and you press the capture button, and Kiryu whips out his flip phone, and he gets that girl's number. So this works a lot like the Aloha links in Like a Dragon, where there are many NPC women out there that I could see to grab numbers to add to your collection, which is probably tied to another new sub-story. So very interested to see how that one works out. I think that's about everything when it comes to exploration. It's everything you would expect from a Like a Dragon Yakuza game. Items to find, those many briefcases here, again in Kiwami 3 for you to find, but it's very much the same, and it's always a treat just to go off the beaten path from the main story and just get lost. Do some karaoke, have a bit of a sing, or just do some other shenanigans. Next up, I want to talk about customization, because Pirate Yakuza with Majima introduced a lot of customization in your outfits, and you obviously had your ship. Here in Kiwami 3, you can do the same with Kiryu. You can go to certain shops to get changed, or you can go back to any of your home bases to get changed, and there is a plethora of options from hairstyles, glasses, different costumes, so many options. I put Kiryu in his classic suit but gave him long hair with some sunglasses and just went around the streets beating everyone up. Then I was like, hey, this doesn't match the environment here. So I got him some shorts and a beach styled shirt, and that felt a lot more fitting for the location. But the options are endless, so many things you're going to be able to unlock through sub-stories and all of the mini games. So customization is going to be something that people will probably get lost in, and everyone's Kiryu is going to look a little bit different, and this does reflect in the cutscenes as well, as serious as they may be. Now, we don't have a ship here in Kiwami 3, we have a cell phone, so we have the option to customize our cell phone. This is a classic flip phone, which is reflective of the times that Yakuza Kiwami 3 takes place in, but we can change the antennae, we can change the strap, we can even change the lock screen. I assume there's going to be many unlockables, again, tied to mini games here. You can change the color, you can add stickers, and you can even add rhinestones, which is again reflective of the times. A lot of people did crazy things on their cell phones back in the day. All in all, looking at exploration and customization, there's going to be a lot of things to unlock and get lost in here in Kiwami 3. The section I got to play was just the Ryoku section, and that was shut off to a certain degree because it's quite early on in the story, but there's lots to do here with the addition of the street surfer and more quality of life that we've came to be accustomed with the Like a Dragon games. This is going to be a treat to explore. Next up, we have the combat, and it feels smooth as ever, fast, snappy, taking a lot from Pirate Yakuza. I really loved how smooth that gameplay was, and this translates here with the two styles that Kiryu has access to, the Dragon Dojima style and the new Ryuku style, which is a brand new style allowing you to have up to 8 weapons to switch between using different combos and buttons, which I felt like was more of like a crowd control mode, but you can swip and swap between them as often as you like. They all come with heat actions, which I feel are a lot more smoother. I always remember Yakuza heat actions always flashing to like a new screen or camera perspective. Here in Kiwami 3, I don't know if it did it anywhere else, but it does a camera shift with no camera cuts at all to it very smoothly, and it looks very satisfying. Again, it's just improved upon. It feels so much better than it did in the original Yakuza 3, and I think a lot of people are going to be very satisfied with a lot of the things that they can pull off and the quick switching between the stances. There was also a dragon rush, so essentially, like most Yakuza games, you can enter like a heightened state by pressing R2. You can do that here again in Kiwami 3, but then you can take it one step further and use dragon rush, and I can't remember just off the top of my head how that is triggered, but you turn it into an absolute beast using some insane moves. I ended up doing like a power bomb with Kiryu. I was flying around like a madman. So this looks like it's going to just add so much more to the combat. Again, I wish this is something that I had captured and could share with you, but I've just got B-roll that I'm sharing with you in this video. I didn't have any access to the skill tree, so I don't know what needs to be unlocked and how things are going to unlock, and if they are going to be more reflective of what we've seen in games like PLAYED Yakuza, or if it's going to be very similar to what it was in Yakuza 3. That's about everything when it comes to Kiwami 3 with what I got to experience. I played it for about 45 minutes and it was just a blast to play through. There's so much there. I feel like I only scratched the surface, but how smooth this game feels, how beautiful it looks, and how it ran on the PS5. I'm really happy and excited to dive into this adventure with Kiryu. But as you know, this isn't just what you're getting in the package of Yakuza Kiwami 3. This comes with a new side game called Dark Ties, which involves the antagonist Mine, and you get to see some of his backstory leading up to the events of Kiwami 3. This takes place mainly in Kamurocho, and as you would expect, everything's here that we've mentioned in Kiwami 3 with all of the mini games. The print club is here included. We can go bowling, darts, everything you remember in Kamurocho is here, and you can explore it here with Mine. I didn't see any ability to customize anything, even though he comes with a cell phone. There was no option to customize his cell phone, even though most of the exploration is going to be the same of what you experienced with Kiwami 3, but from a different perspective. It's the combat that shines here with Mine, because he comes with some real beastly things, and he was a pleasure to play with. There's only one stance here, but he has a speedy shootboxing inspired action combat, which weaves into aerial moves as well, and it's very satisfying to be launching off one enemy and then hitting another enemy that might be behind you, using an enemy as a weapon, and all of these things. It was so intense and really cool to just mess around with. And then it got even better with the Dark Awakening mechanic. So essentially on the left hand side underneath your health bar, you have 3 hearts that you can fill up. It doesn't matter if it's 1, 2 or 3, 3 being the most powerfulest, 1 being the weakest, but you hold in R2 and you activate the Dark Awakening, and Mine just turns into a wrecking machine, backflipping off enemies, launching through anything, breaking all of the breakable environment items around. Like a motorcycle blew up out of nowhere because I was so charged up focusing on an enemy. No one stood a chance. This was really satisfying, and again, you want to wait for those 3 hearts to fill up before you use it, because you are going to be at your strongest. But this felt like a brand new style and just a very high octane combat style to mess around with, and I really enjoyed it. One thing that I really liked, because we played on the PlayStation 5, was the fact that when you hold in R2, depending on how many hearts you filled, that tension on that R2 is a little bit stronger to activate it. You hold it, and then once it's activated, you have that satisfaction of the R2 snapping into place, and then you can just go absolute ham on all of the enemies. From everything that I got to play here with Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties, I'm excited. I've always wanted to go back to Yakuza 3 because I didn't give it the chance because of the drop in the engine, because it was remastered from the PlayStation 3, and coming from Kiwami 2 to the original Yakuza 3 just felt a little bit daunting and a bit weird, a bit of out of sync. But now that we're getting Kiwami 3, I'm so in for revisiting. Any questions you want to know, let me know in the comment section down below. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you want to see more Yakuza content. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.